Frederick Douglass did not know his age or his parents' names. Frequently, the children of slaves never saw their mothers because they were always taken away from them and brought into hands of an old woman. Frederick had to observe all the horrible tragedies that slaves had to experience, including being whipped and even slashing and cutting women's heads off. Many slave owners mistreated slaves just to seem like a harsh and brutal master, and also just to brag about their cruel behavior towards African Americans. But a lot of people can agree that killing 2 slaves with a hatchet to the head is probably not a good example to be setting around other slave owners. The plantation that Mr. Douglass was a slave at was owned by Mr. Lloyd. He owned around 1,000 slaves that were all cruelly treated. Many of the slaves that worked for Mr. Lloyd sang in order to pass their sorrows. Mr. Auld always reminded everyone that teaching slaves how to read and write was like spoiling them, so he did not allow it. Frederick found out that the pathway towards freedom requires education, so he was oftentimes found making friends with the little white boys he met on the street so that they could teach him a little bit of English. Anytime a slave tried to run away or became unmanageable, they would oftentimes be brought back and severely whipped and even sold. This was done so any other slave does not dare to repeat the same actions previously done by slaves who tried to escape. But there was that couple of percentage that actually did escape slavery. And surprisingly, Frederick Douglass falls under that category. Douglass escaped to New York in 1838. The promises of equality, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness were all denied to slaves like Frederick Douglass.